landslide. The Supreme Court comes through for our boy. They did what was right. They followed the Constitution. They saved the Constitution of Republic, not a democracy. It was a 9-0 landslide. Trump's favor. You cannot take the man off the ballot. Take that, fascists, and shove it up, yo, you know what. And let's go to our boy Trump and hear what his reaction was to the ruling that we all knew needed to come down the pipe. So now is the next ruling where we're waiting on his immunity.
Well, thank you very much. I want to start by thanking the Supreme Court for its unanimous decision today. It was a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs. And they worked long, they worked hard, and frankly, they worked very quickly on something that will be spoken about 100 years from now and 200 years from now. Extremely important. Essentially, you cannot take somebody out of a race because an opponent would like to have it that way. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the leading candidate, whether it was the leading candidate or a candidate that was well down on the totem pole. You cannot take somebody out of a race. The voters can take the person out of the race very quickly.
And that's facts. He's absolutely right. I have to put it on pause. Y'all know how YouTube is. Everybody, these are the same people that's running around talking about save democracy or democracy, which I always have to remind everybody that we are not in a democracy. We are in a constitutional republic. But these are the same people that's running around talking about somebody is a threat to democracy. But yet here they are. They run around calling us fascists and all these different things, but they're everything that they say that the Republicans are. They're everything that they say conservatives are. They're everything that they say Trump is. They are the fascists. They are the ones that are doing voter suppression. They are the ones that are literally taking a candidate that's kicking the current candidate's ass for the next election. Trump, yes, he's beating Sleepy Joe's ass all up and down the polls. They're literally trying to take the man off the ballot. So it doesn't come to a surprise to us that a lot of these liberal states, like Illinois and so forth and so on, is trying to take him off the ballot. But now we see the 9-0 ruling that says otherwise. These are the same people that called us the fascists when they're the ones that's literally, that is voter suppression, trying to take someone completely off the ballot. They talk about the democracy. Let the American people choose who they want to be as their president, who they want to be to represent them, right? That's what this whole thing is built off. That's what this whole thing has been set up for. But no, they want to use lawfare. They want to use the wokesters have been in positions of high power. They want to use corrupt, paid-for judges, liberal-leaning judges. Now we know why the Democrats wanted to pack the courts, because of things like this. But in this case, even the Democratic nominated Supreme Court justices said no. 9-0 landslide. I'm going to let them finish a little bit more.
But a court shouldn't be doing that, and the Supreme Court saw that very well. And I really do believe that will be a unifying factor, because while most states were thrilled to have me, there were some that didn't, and they didn't want that for political reasons. They didn't want that because of poll numbers, because the poll numbers are very good. We're beating President Biden in almost every poll. New York Times came out yesterday with a very big poll for us. So they didn't like that, and you can't do that. You can't do what they tried to do. And hopefully Colorado, as an example, will unify. I know there's tremendous support. They brought our support up very strong in Colorado, because people in Colorado thought that was a terrible thing that they did. And while we're on the subject, and another thing that will be coming up very soon will be immunity for a president, and not immunity for me, but for any president. If a president doesn't have full immunity, you really don't have a president, because nobody that is serving in that office will have the courage to make, in many cases, what would be the right decision, or it could be the wrong decision. It could.
And I'm going to stop it right there. He makes a great point. It's not just for him. I know that the left and the Democrats and the wokesters and the liberal liptards, they would love to make it like, oh, it's the insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. No, he's speaking not just for himself, but presidents before. Imagine the dangerous precedents that would set if we were to no immunity whatsoever. Now, am I saying that someone is above the law? Absolutely not. But we have to remember the Democrats, they hate the Constitution first and foremost, but they absolutely love to break the law on many levels until it comes to them. They do not like the Constitution. They hate it until they can use it against you, which we have been seeing through lawfare with these corrupt judges and DAs, so on and so forth. So we don't want to set this type of example going forward. And he's right. It's almost like the police. If we start with this whole defund the police and all these movements that created mayhem and chaos in our society, police have pulled back. They're afraid to do their job. Well, what do you think would happen at the president's level? Here we are already witnessing it, pure tyranny, communism, real fascism, where you try to silence out your political faction that's clearly winning in the polls, where you silence and censor people on social media, where you silence and censor and only put out like a broken record on Main Street media that's constantly playing defense for somebody that's clearly losing, that clearly didn't do anything for any of the American people. When you do lawfare through corrupt judges and DAs and so on and so forth, what do you think you're setting? What kind of example, what kind of atmosphere are you setting here? How can they do their job to the full potential? So I can't wait to see how they rule on this immunity part of it. But we all know that the man has been exonerated through the Senate already. I mean, what are we really looking for immunity here? The man has been exonerated. He's never been charged with any insurrection, never been found guilty on any insurrection. But here we are, just like in this 9-0 ruling, we have states that are literally trying to remove him off the ballot. I mean, you're talking about tyranny, you're talking about fascism, you're talking about a threat to democracy. Clearly, we see who is the real threat to democracy. But this is a big win. It's a major victory. I love it. Y'all already know I'm Trump 2024. And that's a big stick it up y'all's ass fascist, the real fascists in this country. But I want to know what y'all thoughts are. What do you think this immunity ruling is going to come out to be? Did you know that the Supreme Court justices kind of gave us an idea anyway, like, hey, believe it or not, the diversity hire, Ketanji Brown, if you go back, and I'm not a fan of her at all, you know, the one that couldn't define woman. But if you go back and you see how she was going in on the, I believe it was the Colorado case of just going in on, I don't see it. I don't see the example. I don't see where you're talking about. We kind of had an idea that they were going to rule in this favor. Like, hey, you can't take people off the ballot. You need to leave it up to his constituents, to the American people, to vote on who they want to be in. You can't just take somebody off of a ballot. So anyway, I want to know what y'all's thoughts are on the subject. You may not agree with what I just said, but if you go back and look at what she said, she was ripping them a new one. Not a fan of her at all, but I mean, it is what it is. 9-0, man, big victory, y'all. I want to know what y'all's thoughts are. If it's your first time on the channel, thank you for watching it this far. I'm going to be really ramping up my videos now more and more as I got a little bit more time now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified every time I put out some more mean tweet commentary. And for everybody else, my voice would not be where it is today if it wasn't for you elevating it. So thank you so much. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. It's your boy, Craig Long 45. You can't make this shit up. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, oi.